Welcome to another episode of High Proof Ashes. I'm one of your co-hosts, Jason JB Smoke, and my co-host over here to the right.
Y'all know what it is, man. No cool nickname. Duran, we back in the building.
Yep.
About to smoke a little.
Yeah,
drink
man.
a little.
That's right. Just do a little something.
Yeah.
Right? So for today's cigar, we are going to highlight the Espinosa Sumatra. I believe this is a newer cigar from Espinosa. And it's funny, when you pulled this thing out, you said, "Man, this is a little cigar."
Yeah, it's tiny.
And I'm like, "Dude, that's a Robusto." We don't got so used to smoking Toros and Churchills and Lanceros, and
it's your standard size cigar. It's
like
5x52, but
I just thought it was funny that you were
fucking size matters.
Oh my goodness. But anyway, for our spirits for today, you brought our spirit for today.
Yeah. So, Very Old Barton.
Yeah, Very Old Barton.
It's a criteria bottle, so I don't remember the exact price for it, but it's under $30. I want to say under 25, to be completely honest. It's at least 4 years old, and of course it's 100 proof. So, we're gonna jump into it and see what we think.
It's a bottled in bond, right?
I don't know if it's a bottled in bond. I don't know about that.
No, it is just 100 proof.
Yeah.
And it's straight bourbon whiskey, so that's how you know it's 4 years. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, let's get into it.
Yeah, man. I'm a light first. Actually, you know what? I don't think I've ever done this neat and clean.
You know what? That's a great idea. Let's do that. Cigar's got a nice smell to it.
It does.
I like the Sumatra wrapper. Like, it just brings something a little exotic to the flavor. Let's get some of this. Oh, and we're sporting a screw top. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
Nothing impressive on the nose for me. This should be interesting. I bit my tongue today. So
you bit your tongue?
I bit my tongue at lunch.
Oh,
bit it hard too,
Just don't go on that side.
Yeah, well,
I mean, but it's not. It's the aroma. It's not like there's nothing there. I'm getting more than I would expect from a bottom shelf bourbon, right? But it is kind of standard, aromas. What is no on the flavor? Like what? I mean, you
go for it, man.
Like, had it before.
Don't look at me. Go for it, bro. Go for it.
I mean, it's just average.
Yeah.
It's just super, super average. There's something on the back end that I'm not really digging.
Yeah. Okay. That's just,
There's this like kind of twinge on the back end that
I think other times I've had it.
It's a little bitter.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it is. It's a little bitter on the back end.
Other times I've had it, I didn't have it neat.
Right.
Or clean. And so I also had other things to drink prior to, and so.
I mean, so like you say, clean palate, no other,
nothing,
nothing else to drink, nothing to smoke. Like this is as clear as you can get it.
I'm gonna light my cigar.
Yeah, let's do that.
I'm gonna light my cigar. Nothing impressive about it when you do it neat and clean, man. Like,
So if you had to kind of rank this with our other criteria bottles, is this not even crack the top 10?
No. I'd have to see the list again. Right now, I can't.
Okay, fair enough.
It's been a little while since we did the criteria blind, so I know it wouldn't beat a lot of stuff on the list.
The draw on this is really great. Cold draw's got a nice flavor to it.
That's pretty good.
This is flavorful.
Like the footlight is extremely flavorful. So
you found this at our local place. What did they run you? Like $12, something like that.
$11.
Yeah.
After tax, it was right around 25 for two.
Okay.
And the tobacco tax is high, so.
Not in Tennessee.
What is it in Tennessee?
Like 6 or 7%.
Plus regular tax.
Well, so the 6-7% is already on the price.
Okay.
So
then something's missing here because 11, 22, 2, 4. No, that's right. Okay, that's right. The tax is right. 10% Tennessee.
Now there are a lot of places that they won't price the cigar with the tobacco tax, the state tobacco tax, but most places do. The ones that don't tend to be those places that have those just ridiculously high, 25, 30%. What do they call them? Sin tax.
Vegas, California, New York. Yeah.
Don't you be sinning. Like, come on now. That's ridiculous.
It's I expected a little more strength from this. So, it's a bit on the milder side.
I mean, I would say it's a good medium.
It's medium, but so for me, medium, it's at the very beginning of medium.
Yeah. But I think it's intended to be there. Maybe today, you just kind of had a day and you wanted to jump into the deep end.
No, I mean, again, I always appreciate them for what they are. I just, looking at the wrapper and, smelling it, the cold draw, I expected more strength.
Okay.
But I'm not disappointed in the flavor by any means. And it's got enough strength to hold up. So,
yeah,
it's good. It wouldn't be a cigar I would want to smoke later in the evening after I've had something else.
I agree with that. I don't think that I would call this like a good starter cigar, but this is a good middle ground cigar. If you're past the super mild cigars, but maybe you're not to that point where you want to have that heavy cigar.
Yeah.
Like this is a really good middle ground cigar. I've only had 2 or 3 of them up to this point. But I've really enjoyed them, so pretty good cigar.
Yeah, not disappointed at all. All right, I got some smoke on the palate. Let's see.
He's gonna see if that changes the flavor. I'm sure it does. I mean, it's hard to believe it doesn't, but probably it will tame that back end. Not really.
It's just not doing it for me.
Yeah. I mean, it's a basic bourbon. It's a basic bourbon.
There's just this linger that is not cool. Like, I am not enjoying it at
Yeah, I'm curious what the mash bill on this is because I'm still getting that bitterness on the back end.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder what that would be. I wonder why that would be. That's quite interesting. I mean, it can't be like the water because, they're in Bardstown and there's distilleries in Bardstown that, so it's the same water. So I'm wondering if it's just a variety of corn or rye or, just whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever
I mean, again, I
like
didn't expect a whole lot from it, right? Like, it's along the line of the Dant for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the Dant made the top 10, barely. It was number 10.
That's where it's at the very. So it's better than some other things we've had. Like, I still like this better than the
Old Bardstown.
Old Bardstown.
I don't know if anything's gonna get below that.
Dog, I don't know what it is about that I don't like. It's just not.
It's not for you, man. I mean, it is what it is. You know, I don't know. So now I had a thought, like, I've been doing this like blending,
Hmm.
experimenting stuff, right?
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if I could take something like this that we don't really enjoy all that well and maybe elevate it by blending it with something.
I'm sure you could. Like, I mean, if you mix enough bottles in there, like you're not really gonna taste it. Like, so
But I mean, it's not like I'm so far the blending that I'm doing, it's not like I'm putting like 10
no,
different
you're
things in
you're
there.
you're literally trying to experiment and make something special out of
Right.
each one. But um, it would take a lot of goodness to really make that something that you want to have on a regular.
So I think what I'm going to do, maybe I'll grab a jewel from you
Mhm.
before you leave, and I'm going to look up some info on this to see if I can figure out what that build is like
Mhm.
and see how I can manipulate the build from other things, right?
Yeah,
And maybe come up with something that and using bottles that are somewhat in that same
similar.
price range. You know what I mean? So
See,
that
that just scares me in itself.
like I'm just thinking like maybe like nothing but criteria bottles, right? But or what would be a criteria bottle? But I don't know. Like
It's
it
worth
would
a
be
shot.
it would be interesting to just try and I need to make a blend another one very soon and just get that one going because my first one is done um, and it's not moving forward.
Okay,
It didn't. I wasn't trying for anything with the first one. I was just blending just to see what would happen.
but it didn't meet the standard that you
It
wanted it
it
to.
it it didn't. And what's crazy is like I put all good stuff in there. Like it was nothing cheap in there. And I guess just those four bottles didn't like each other at all. Like at all.
Okay, I mean that it happens, right? Like, which is why you have master distillers, right? Like they kind of know, like, hey,
the
this goes with
the
this,
master
this doesn't
blenders,
go,
yeah.
like so.
Yeah. Yeah, they're doing something with a purpose,
Yeah.
right? And so the second one was kind of the same way, right? I was just kind of blending some things that I liked just to see what would happen, right?
Hmm.
But with the third one, I went in with an intent and I
Yes.
actually looked up, researched, did the math, figured out, and I just I've got the short recorded, but I need to edit it and post it. But I think that one is going to be a winner. I think my number three blend
Is
is
that the
going.
one I tried most recently when I was here?
Yes,
Yeah.
because even you thought it was pretty damn
It's
close,
close. It's
and
close.
that was like after a week.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so what I want to do is go ahead and clear out a bottle,
Hmm.
and let's go ahead and make a bottle
Yeah.
and let it start marrying. And because I probably want to let it marry for a good month before I bring
Okay.
it in.
Okay.
A good month. So, but hey, listen, if you guys have any kind of blending stories that you can tell us, share those with us. Um, share some, I'm sure there's some funny ones out there. I'm sure
Yeah.
there's some ones that were like really good. I will say this: all the ones that I've ever tasted from people that were supposed to mimic other stuff, like no, they weren't even close. They weren't even close. Like they called them like the poor man's blank,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And like to be fair, the one that I'm making costs the same amount as the real bottle. What I'm replicating is just
Right.
impossible to get. They're just not available.
So
Right?
again, I think the most recent one we tried wasn't bad. Like,
It
it
wasn't a
just
bad pour, but it poorly replicated what it was trying to replicate.
yeah, but that was a recipe from online. It wasn't
Yeah,
like
and when the guy told me what the recipe was, I kind of went like, that doesn't sound like it would do anything. Like it was like it was like 70% of one thing, 25% of something else, and 5% of something else. And I'm like, 5%? Like, no, it was less than that. It was like 3% of that last bottle. And I'm like, I did the math in my head, and I'm like, you got a half an ounce of that third bottle in
mhm.
that whole bottle. Like, that's not doing anything. Like, it's just not going to do anything,
Right.
you know. And they were using stuff from the same distillery that is somewhat equally hard to find.
Yeah, yeah. So making it is basically, it doesn't help you.
Right. So my blend number 3 is trying to make something from a different distillery that's really hard to get. It's not crazy expensive, but it's just hard to get. It's just
Right.
not available, right? But I'm making it with 4 bottles that are readily available.
Right.
So I'm curious to see at a month what it's going to be like. By the time we drop this episode, we'll probably be done with it. But
Yeah, might be close.
Y'all stay tuned in for that. But how you liking the cigar, man?
So far, so good, right? Like, again, for my palate, I think it's a little light. I'm not dissatisfied with the experience I'm getting. It's a lighter cigar for me. You know, I tend to smoke full body, full flavored cigars, so and I don't venture down often. Like, to be completely honest, I don't come off of that very often. So,
you let other people explore for you, right?
huh?
You let other people explore for you.
Well, no, not
And just be
necessarily.
like,
You know,
no, I mean just like, have other people recommend stuff to you and say like, hey, it's like this. You know what I'm saying? So like, if I was to compare this to the other cigars in this specific line, they've got the the Habano, the Especial, the Crema.
like, see,
like-
I even prefer, like, the cream is lighter than this, but I prefer it.
I think that, just being completely honest, I think the Crema is stronger but has less flavor.
I don't know. I
Like,
see the crema for me is a entry, like a
It
starter
is.
stick.
It is, but just comparing it to this, I feel like this has, like you said, it's less strength but more flavor. It's almost like it swaps the two from the Crema, which is strange because you would expect the Crema to be a lighter bodied cigar.
Well, see, and that's the thing. I feel like the crema is a lighter body cigar. Like, I feel like this is heavier than the crema, but the crema just lends to my flavor profile more, I suppose. With maybe a more, I don't know. You think it's more? This one has more robust taste than the crema, so I guess this is just one of those that we differ on.
I don't know. Let's get more into it. Maybe, maybe I just haven't smoked on it long enough, and maybe you might be right. Maybe this one is kind of in between, like the Habano and the Crema. It's possible. I think what you're getting from this is more of the exotic, rarer tobacco.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's got a very
different and unique flavor profile.
Right. So it's not your traditional taste profile on a cigar. So again, I'm happy with the flavor.
Right, just not the strength.
Just not the strength.
So I'll, obviously when I post this episode, I will put some info up on the screen. I don't actually know what this blend is. I don't know Sumatra, right? But I'm not sure if that means that it was actually grown, in that area,
right,
or is it a seed from there that they grew in Nicaragua,
right?
Like, because they do that a lot, right? They'll call it an Ecuadorian seed,
yeah,
grow it in
the Dominican,
yeah,
like
sure.
yeah, it'll be crazy,
yeah, and so they it's
what I think the whole experience is just wrong right now. I think that might be part of it, right? Like, I'm not necessarily enjoying the spirit, and so the cigar is not the strength I would want it to be to block out the flavor I'm getting from this spirit.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe we should have went with something, that we kind of know a little bit better. Something that's got a little bit more oomph to it.
Maybe not. It's just
bad.
I like this for the podcast, right? Like, it's real world,
Yeah.
You're getting my honest opinion right now, like, on two things that, like, the very old Barton, like, I don't drink this on a regular, right? Like, I literally bought it just for the podcast. We opened it probably 3 weeks ago. I opened it just to taste the neck pour, but I had multiple things to drink that night when I tasted this, so I wasn't on a fresh palate, right?
Right.
So but also I didn't
I'm
necessarily
gonna
want to neck pour on this.
I'm gonna tell you what I would do with this. I would put this in my decanter for friends.
You an asshole.
No. You're saying that.
Don't drink from the decanter.
No. Here's what I mean by that, right? So I've taken it out of the bottle, right? I'm putting it in a decanter that's just meant for friends, and what I mean by that is people who don't drink bourbon.
Okay.
Right.
Okay.
I'm because like if you get something from somebody's decanter, it's probably not great.
I don't know about that.
Like,
I know people that have really good shit in their decanter.
I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't happen, but I'm saying like, when's the last time you put something really great in a decanter?
I don't have one, so never.
Well, okay. I've only done it once. And that was only because...
You didn't have a bottle.
No. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess yes, but I was sharing... A friend and I went in together and bought a bottle together.
Right, I know what was in it.
Yeah.
So,
I was like, hey, I've got a decanter I can put it in.
You keep the bottle, right? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You didn't have a bottle, so...
But if I'd have had just some spare bottle lying around, I probably would have done that instead.
No, that's terrible, because then, it would have had to been thoroughly cleaned.
Oh, yeah, I would have washed it out. Sure. I would have washed it out. But, so, like, you compared it with the Dant, right? The JW Dant.
Mm-hmm.
I think this is better than the JW Dant, but nothing else on the list.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when I say it's in line with the Dant, like, it's not so much better that, like, I would prefer to drink one over the other. Like, if they were both sitting side by side and they, like, put a gun to my head and said, drink one, I drink this, but,
Like, you could have this after you've had several pours.
Yeah, if you're just wanting to continue.
Yeah, you don't really care.
Here's the thing, right? Like, drink responsibly, because if you get to that point, right? Like, if you're at the point where you're just like, oh, I just need another drink just to be drinking something, probably should stop. I'm just being real.
You probably should.
Right? Like, you should probably stop. Like, if I'm no longer tasting things, like, and enjoying what I'm having, and I go over there and I go, you know what? I just want another drink. Let me get this bullshit. Like,
look, there's millions of people that do that every day, and they do that from the very get go. They don't care. They just want to drink. And these.
I'm good with that though.
Like, these people go to bars, and they get the stuff, right?
But what I'm saying, like, once you're at the point of like, I
hear what you're saying.
My thing is like, I don't drink for that reason,
to
right?
get drunk, right? You don't just drink to drink, right?
Right. No, flavor. Like I enjoy drinking to, have a good pour, taste some different nuances. Of course, I want to take the edge off and shake the funk of the day, all of that good stuff. Mm-hmm. But once I've done that, if I'm just sitting there going for another one just to do it, I might have a problem. Not saying I don't have a problem.
Love it. I love it.
Sorry if, I made you feel some type of way. My bad. I ain't mean to, just saying. Like,
no, look, again, people.
If you've had a good few and you go reaching for that just to have another one, like.
I'm just saying, if you reach, people reach for whatever all the time. It may not be this, right?
I'm talking about. So again, when I said what I just said, I'm talking about in my specific demographic. I don't know too many people that drink that way. So if I seen you and we were drinking and having a good time, and then you were like, you know what, I'm trashed, but I want to have another drink. I'm gonna go after that Very Old Barton. I'm like, yo, bro, I'm going home.
Yes.
I'm done.
I should hope that one of the boys would look at me and be like,
you're good. You don't need no more.
Right.
Yeah, that's what like, bro, you don't need that. Like,
you don't need that.
You don't need that. Especially with what I have available to me, right? Like, at any given moment, like, right. I can always go to Wild Turkey 101 or something like that. Like,
I mean, like, we're talking about, like, that's another criteria bottle, right? That was way up there, right? Mm-hmm. I think it tied for second place or something like that. But, like, it's that is so much better than this.
Yeah.
And it's, like, basically the same price.
Yeah.
So, this is for us, for our opinion. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that absolutely love this pour.
Yeah, probably.
But if you've been following us for a while, you like what we like. you're probably not gonna like this. Like,
a lot of people also don't have the same budget we have for things. So I'm not knocking this. Like, buy what you can at
no, I'm
the
saying,
price point and get in and enjoy it, right?
I'm
Like,
saying
and then,
like compared to the other criteria bottles that
Yeah.
we've done, right? These
what
are
I'm saying though is
affordable
you're
bottles.
you saying like, you know, there are a lot of people that drink this and enjoy it, and you know, yeah, probably because they haven't had other things. Like
That I was actually pointing out more like people just have different palates, right? I mean, they just, dude, the Old Bardstown. There's people in our group who absolutely love it. You absolutely hate it.
Yeah.
You know, so there's a pretty big gradient there, right, for different people. Now,
But even so, even the people in our group that like that bottle still, I think they like the JW Dant more than they like that bottle. Because that bottle won a blind in the lounge, the JW Dant.
it got last place. It got 10th place. I mean,
Yeah, but what I'm saying is like when we did Ray's blind, it won.
oh, I don't know that I did that one.
We were all shocked because that's how we end. I think you did do it when he brought in
Maybe
the
I
thing,
did.
and
But he brought in like 2 other like super cheap bottles. You know, so we're comparing them between these other 2 bottles, right? Like that's the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
Like,
you need a baseline.
yeah, you know, like I'm thinking of it in comparison to other criteria bottles, our criteria bottles.
I'm not.
And
I'm
in
just
that-
thinking about it in terms of
just in the realm of bourbon.
bourbon. Yeah.
I mean, if that's where we're gonna go, I mean, I'd have to say that only 5 of the criteria bottles would be ones that I would ever
Venture to drink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And even the low proof blonde that we did, maybe the top 4 or 5. Like, and it's unfortunate because I have the bottle that lost. Like, I have a full bottle of that. I have to do something with it, I guess. I mean, I don't even know. Like, we threw it out.
Yeah.
And like that's gonna be in the back of my mind always. Like this, there's 7 other bottles that I know are better than this.
Yeah.
Why would I drink this?
Yeah. And so that's just where I'm at with this, and you know, like there are so many things out there. Like even at that price point, like again, to say like people's palate are like this is a very mediocre bottle, right? Like at this price point, you can walk in and buy Wild Turkey 101. At this price point, you can walk in on a good day, right, and find Old Granddad.
Yeah, you're not wrong. And we haven't even done the what is it, the bottled in bond Granddad, which is even cheaper than the 114.
Yeah.
And it would actually compare to this.
Exactly. So
Yeah,
I just think that, you know, palate, no palate. This is a very mediocre bottle, and if you tried it against some of the other things in that price point,
But haven't they been making this like forever?
No, I don't, couldn't tell you.
I mean, I know we didn't like.
I know we walked past it 1,000 times.
I mean, it's on the bottom shelf, you know, and like, how many bottom shelf bottles do we buy? Like, it's not that many, you know, and that's not knocking bottom shelf, right? But it's just.
Again, you got to be right though. Somebody's drinking it somewhere.
Right.
If they wouldn't make it if it wasn't happening.
Right. Well, look, I don't want to make any assumptions or accusations, but you know, hey, if you haven't tried it, give it a try. Like, you may find it satisfactory for the price.
I'm on the opposite end of the spectrum.
We don't. I mean, I'm with you.
If you ain't tried it, don't.
I hate to tell people like to never try something. You know what I mean?
If you're a bourbon person,
then don't try this.
Don't try this. Don't try this.
Don't try it. I mean,
don't give this to your friends to start them in bourbon. Like you're gonna ruin it from the jump. They're gonna be like, no. You know, that's just where I'm at with it. Like I would not want to have this be like my entry to bourbon, or go to a friend's house and, you know, this be something they give me, even as a novice.
No, I'm with you, because like I'm thinking back to like when I started getting into beer, and you know, I didn't really have anyone to help me. I just kind of started trying stuff, and what I found out really early on was the reason why I didn't like beer was because I was drinking shit beer.
That's probably why I don't like beer.
You know what I'm saying? And so that's why I started getting into the craft beers, and then experimenting with those and finding the ones that I actually like, the types of beers that I like. And unfortunately, if you don't know, the beer aisle is always cheap to good. Like cheap, side to like more expensive good side, right? And it could be left to right, it could be right to left. But that's the way they do the beer aisle. Every beer aisle is like that. Well, I don't know about a liquor store, but a grocery store, like in the fridge, that's how they do it. That's how they always do it. The natties are always only going to be on one end.
Natty,
right? Spuds are going to be in the middle. Right?
Special Reserve or Steel Reserve, my bad.
Yeah, man, like Rolling Rock, like all them, they all that stuff's going to be on one end.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
The cheap end. And I mean, I know that there's people that they wouldn't put it out there if people didn't buy it, right? And I get that, right? There's people who buy it all the time, but not for me.
Yeah.
And so I had to go over here to the more niche side.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's where we always bourbon. Like we have to
bypass
the cheaper stuff. Let's just call it that. And kind of go start at a specific level. And this just does not.
Yeah, I'm a bougie bourbon drinker at this point. Like, to be completely honest, like, I don't even like. I have bottles at home that sit on top of my bar that like I don't drink on a regular basis. Like, and I'm not a huge fan of them. But I would still let friends drink them, right? Like there's some makers up there, like cask strength makers and different things, right? Like good bottles.
That's a good bottle. It's just not for you.
It's just not for me, right? Like this one is one that I'm hesitant. Like if a friend came to my house and was like, yo, I really want to try bourbon, I wouldn't want to pull that out and give it to him because I think it would ruin it right off the bat.
Right.
Right. So I'd be like, hey, let me, at least start you off on something decent. Let me give you this Old Granddad. Let me give you this Wild Turkey. Let me give you this Knob Creek 9.
Yeah. Yeah, this is not a good bourbon for someone early on their journey or first starting out, because it's going to give them the wrong impression of bourbon.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This is
meant for a certain
demographic. Yeah, it's meant for a person that might just be drinking a drink. Unfortunately, like. You want something a little stronger than your standard run of the mill stuff. Your 80 proof stuff.
So you buy this. Yeah.
You're gonna go up to this 100.
Yeah.
But even if I seen that person in the store, then I'd encourage them like, hey,
for the same price.
For the same price,
you can
I know you just gonna go home and get fucked up on this, but it's gonna taste better. You'll enjoy getting fucked up much better with this.
Yeah, it's hard for me to disagree with you on that.
Right? So that's just my thing.
This needs to be a cheaper bottle.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like it shouldn't be past $20.
Like again, I don't know what I paid for it. I'm gonna be completely honest. When I bought this, I bought it with multiple other things.
Okay.
And it was a throw-in, like, oh yeah, we said we was gonna do this. Let me go ahead and just grab it real quick.
Yeah. Like, I hope that it's not over $20 because it shouldn't be. Even at 100 proof, it shouldn't be over $100. So, but hey, that's our opinion.
I think we just did our final thoughts on that. So let's talk about this cigar. Do final thoughts because we're getting close. I'm to the band.
Damn, really?
Yeah, man. Again, this is the lack of strength makes me smoke it faster.
Yeah, I hear you.
But it's an extremely flavorful cigar, like he said. And I guess I'm doing my final thoughts first. We're doing it backwards today. I'm just kind of all over the place.
Go for it.
It has a more exotic taste to it than the normal cigars, right?
Yep.
So it's very enjoyable, especially because I'm on a fresh palate, right? I haven't smoked anything else today. So this is very enjoyable. I wish it had just a tad bit more strength. Not even a lot, right? Just a little bit more. Just bump it up in the medium a little more, right? Because like I said, for me, I think this teeters at the very beginning of medium, right? And with the flavor profile for my palate specifically, I'd like for it to be a little stronger.
I feel you. I agree with most of what you're saying. But like you say, the kind of exoticness that you get in the flavor profile, I worry that the strength
might overpower
it. Might cover it up.
Yeah. And
so I appreciate this cigar for what it is. It's not something that I would buy like in 10 packs or anything like that.
Nah.
I've only ever bought these in singles. It's probably the only way I'll ever buy them because I don't see this as a regular for me.
No,
Right?
definitely not.
I see this as a cigar that is really good for that person that ventures out into those outliers, right? They might be expensive, whatever, right? And because they want those exotic flavors, they don't want that kind of standard cigar,
Yeah, yeah.
flavor, whatever, right? And so this would be a good one for that person, especially because of how cheap it is.
Mm.
Because most of your exotic blends they're not cheap.
No, no.
And
I mean,
so like I applaud them for coming out with something that's exotic like this at the price point, where the flavor profile is great, the strength doesn't
Yeah.
overpower it, so
where I don't think people should try that, I do think people should try this. I think this helps round out your palate. This is the type of cigar that it gives you a different experience, a different flavor profile.
it's not a heavy cigar. Like it's
No.
not heavy or rich.
No,
Like I'm not getting any
but
of
it rounds out your palate. Like
yeah.
to enjoy this cigar, you have to be a person that actually like smokes
Yeah.
pretty regularly, right? To understand that like this is not a traditional stick.
It's not.
It's a one-off.
It is.
And it's meant to be that.
Yeah.
So you enjoy it for what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I'd like it to be stronger, but I'm not upset at what it is.
Right.
So I would tell people to try this one.
And like, just honestly, having just water with this is probably your best pairing. Just so you don't confuse the palate at all.
Yeah.
Like that's kind of how
Yeah.
the flavor, kind of like you said, it's exotic. It's very unique. It's very subtle,
Mm-hmm.
and it's what it's trying to do in the flavor profile, and I appreciate it for that. Like
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
And again, so once we're off air here, we're probably going to have something else to drink and see how it pairs with something a little better. All right. Because I think that might be part of the experience as well. I have this lingering taste in my mouth from something that I'm not necessarily enjoying.
Yeah. And you just want something more from the drink.
Yeah.
You want something that actually pairs well with this, and that
Bingo.
wasn't it.
That's not it.
So I mean, listen, cigar and drink pairings are like a big deal for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're gonna get a pairing that just doesn't work.
Yeah.
This one doesn't work.
Like I would enjoy this cigar a lot more with probably a more
refined,
more
like a
fruity,
Russell's 10,
right? Like
a Russell's 10.
Russell's 10 would be good. Honestly, I was thinking like E.H. Taylor. I think E.H. Taylor would go very well with this, right? It's super refined.
Yep.
It's not crazy high proof.
Nope.
But you can pick out the subtle nuances in it. So I think that'd be a good pairing. Just a regular old small batch E.H. Taylor.
Yeah.
I
got you.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll see. Hey,
that's all I got, man.
Let's wrap it up.
All right. Well, y'all know what it is, man. Another episode of High Proof Ashes. This one's been a little bit different. Like, a little bit off the cuff, a little different than what we normally do. Like, we kind of just went all over the place, but I like it. I like it a lot.
Nothing wrong with that.
Y'all know what it is, man. I'm no cool nickname, Duran, my partner to the left.
I'm Jason JB Smoke, and y'all put some smoke in the air. See y'all next time.